My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome everyone to the show. I have a very special guest today. This is Miss Daria Hanson. Daria, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me over.
So she's an international certified access conscious facilitator. She's an author, a creator of magnitude, all these wonderful things. And you can see more about her bio in the links below. But she's also an incredible and inspiring businesswoman. And something I've noticed just in interacting with you in your business, how different you are with business. And that's what I want to talk about today. You know, a lot of people claim to have like, this is the formula, this is the right way to do business. And I've been really enjoying exploring how different we are with business and getting people to kind of look at, oh, like maybe I could try that. Maybe I could try this. What's great about me? So thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to acknowledge that we are so different and everybody creates in their own magical ways, and we just have to unlock that capacity.
Yes. So what helped you unlock your capacity? So you like, did you take schooling in business? Did you just jump into it and you were like, I'm going to see what this is like?
I could say that I did take some schooling, but really school didn't teach me what I know about business and how I create my business. My capacity with creation of business has been opening up through experience of business, through engaging with business, through learning the four wonderful sources of creation: question, possibility, choice, and
contribution.
Yeah, these have been my four best friends with creating business, definitely.
Wow. So something I noticed, so we've created classes here in Canada together. And one thing I really loved was I noticed how you would talk to each individual creation, but you also seem to be like energetically talking to the whole of the business as well. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, one very wild and completely insane thing about some of us, but specifically I'll talk about me, is that I recognize that everything in life is an entity of its own. Business, so I facilitate access consciousness classes around the world in different variations and form of access consciousness tools that I represent. Overall, there is access consciousness as an entity, the system where we derive our tools from.
Yeah.
And then there is my business, my license, my creations, and it's the Daria Handson business that has a trademark that I create under. And that's a different entity. And then there is specific classes like the foundation, let's say in Kelowna, or the 3-day body class in Toronto, or a telecall somewhere in the world online, or a bars class in Russia. It doesn't matter what classes and what form the class takes, the online, the live, or the telecall form, it's still a separate entity, each one of them. And then the recognition that every entity knows exactly what it desires to be, and creating with that acknowledgement and the engagement with that entity is what has been an undiscoverable, indescribable miracle and a gift to my life.
Oh.
Because then when I create, let's say, a class, like we did in Kelowna with you, the 3-day body class, I would be going, hey, class, who do you want to host you? Where do you want to be? What dates would you like to be on? Who would you like to invite? How big would you like to be? What is required of me? What can I be to you? I'm not the person who knows it all. I'm the person who engages. And then that entity can communicate with me back and let me know what is actually required from my side.
I love that you said that. I think a lot of people, and this is like the wave of entrepreneurs, right? Like we're seeing since 3 years back now, like so many people that never had their own business, they're jumping into business. And I think a lot of people do think I need to know it all first, or they're going, I know nothing, rather than, oh, I'm the engager. What questions can I ask? What do I know? And really plan on that. So when you said the class and the business knows what it would like to be, do you sense that you follow more, or is there, because I noticed that you don't control it and that's pretty unique.
To me, it's like a tango. It's like a bachata dance or any kind of pair dancing. You lead where you're required to lead and you follow where you're required to follow. So just engaging with the business is not enough to actually create it in a way that actualizes in the format you would like to see a possibility to actualize. But it allows you to acknowledge and recognize what the capacity of this entity is, of this creation is. So let's say some things would like to be smaller than others. Others would like to be bigger than others. Some would like to be more expensive. Some would like to be more contracted. And that when you live in a world of no judgment, you don't look at the creation from a perspective of, oh, this is too small or this is too big. You look at what this creation actually contributes to now, to me, to the world, to the land, to the people who are going to be part of this, and to the future. And some wonderful creations like you and I had in Kelowna, the 3-day body class wasn't huge, let's say, number of people, but the contribution, the energy change, the shift, the possibility, the transformation for the people who were there, and what it creates for the future energetically is maybe even beyond of some of the classes that I've done that were way more bigger in their tendency. It's not about the money you create right now. It's not about the recognition and the people who come and join you. It's what it creates for the future. And so having that, first of all, recognize that you can perceive what the creation would like to be. You can see if you can shift and change that dance, let's say, to something else. Mm-hmm. But if it's not going to happen, you are not forcing, you are not fighting, you are not judging it. You go, okay, well, let's create this. Like, let's not dance the whole night. Let's dance one dance.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 5 minutes. Like, so you perceive what it can be. And if it cannot be changed and shifted to something you would like to see, then you are receiving it the way you would like to be. And then there's the opposites. When you think it's going to be a small creation, but it desires to be so much bigger that it actually just grows by itself. You're not even putting any effort to it. You barely are keeping up with it because it's just exploding from all sides. And then you have to be willing to receive that too. And so basically one of the things that shows up is that capacity to be willing to receive everything for what it is, for what those creations are, rather than what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And with that piece, it's like there's that control that we engage with on a daily basis and approach most of our creations with. We want everything to be bigger, higher, more effective, more efficient, more money, more profit, more. But probably I will say that because the way it sounded when I heard it, it changed my life. It's not a penile reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even the penile reality sometimes needs to rest because it will hurt if it's always on, erected,
Always
and
hard.
always hard. It needs to relax once in a while. It's okay to go down sometimes and sleep.
Well, and I noticed really, go ahead.
No, it's a little bit out there the way I put it, but once you hear it that way, you can't unsee it. And when you look at from the new perspective at your business and your life, you start realizing in life there is ups and downs. There is bigger creation, smaller creation. There's wider creation, shorter creation, long term, short term. There's so many different ways of creating. There is no one perfect and correct creation.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And my sense is the more you're out of judgment with your creations, you can communicate greater. And I'd like to talk more about that communication, because whenever I've been in judgment of something, I'm like, why can't I communicate well? Like, why? It's because I have this huge wall of separation and judgment of like myself or it or both.
I'm not doing enough. I don't know enough. I can't figure out how to do it better. Or starting to look at someone else's creations and comparing yourself and your creations. That's the worst one.
Yes. Yeah. That's just a great way to destroy your creations, your business. I've done it for sure. Yeah. I've had those.
We've all done it. We all have done
it.
Because we're used to comparing. That's the way we're used to engage. You look at someone else, what they do, and you try to do a better version of it. Or as good as they. It's the maximalization of this reality. But when every single one of us are so different, maximizing reality of someone else is not going to work for us because we're so unique. We have to unlock that Pandora box of creation for each of us individually.
So how did you find that journey for you, like the unlocking of that box for you?
I would say it didn't come right away as an open box and like the presence on a plate with a silver lining. No, it was years of discovering, asking questions, committing to your choices, letting those questions lead to the new choices, and the new choices lead to the contribution that was available at that point. And going to receive from those contributions new possibilities. Like it's that chain of elements, the 4 elements of creation that throughout the years basically created the momentum for my business. Because there are so many times when I wanted to put on a class and I would already pay for the hotel, conference room. I would pay for my hotel. I would pay for my flights. I would already even fly to the city. I had people registered, and then in the morning I would get text messages like, "Oh, I got sick. Oh, I had to go to work, or my flight got canceled, or like all kinds of justifications for not coming to the class." Not attended, and then you would sit there in a different city with a conference room empty, and you could go into the judgment of what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? How did I allow for this to happen? And that's all judgments. And judgments of these people. How could you do this to me? You said you would come. You confirmed, but you didn't. But I didn't do that. It's one probably of my strengths. I did not go into the judgment of myself or others in those situations. I went into the question, what did I create with this choice for now and for the future? And that question allowed for the energy that got generated with this class to expand out into the future and generate the momentum for the future classes, for the future tendency, for the future possibilities, no matter how they would show up in the same country or city or not.
Yeah.
It's like whenever people register for my classes and then they cancel, I don't go in the judgment of what's wrong with you or what's wrong with us. I go, how many people are going to come to this on this spot, and how does it get any better than this? And when is this person going to show up for? And it might not be that they will show up at our classes, they might show up at somebody else's classes, but I recognize that I have been part of generating the energy for them to choose what they will be choosing in the future. So I'm receiving their choice, which allows me to expand, allows them to expand. And regardless of their choice of me or someone else, my universe is expanded already. So more space, which allows for the universe to bring me more possibilities into my space.
Wow.
So with every person you communicate and engage, no matter how it will turn out, your receiving expands out, your space expands out, and you allow for more to be brought into your life, no matter what it looks like.
So for someone that doesn't naturally have that capacity to like not judge themselves, what are there any tools you might
Of course, yeah. Because I did not know that I had the capacity until I started using the tools. And it turned to be, when I heard about the tools, I was like, oh, that's actually how I would like to perceive my world or be in my world. And probably number one tool would be interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view that this should show up as. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that this must be this way. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I lost money on this event. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view that I didn't make enough money on this event. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view that I didn't make enough profit. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view that I did something wrong. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I am not enough. I don't know enough. And just carry on with this interesting point of view. I have this point of view of and add into that any judgment you have of you or your event or your business or your creation, your project, and then carry on saying it out loud. For me, works out loud better because then I can hear myself.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Until that energy of judgment starts to dissipate and you can feel it. It's over suddenly you opening up to this new state of being where you're like, was I really wrong? No, I'm not. And sometimes I would just even start laughing at myself going like, that's funny. And then from that space of interesting point of view, you go into like, what did they create with this? And for me personally, it's probably the most creative way to expand out my creation now into the future, no matter how big or small it is.
That's such a powerful question. And I recommend anyone writing that down. I like to take notes. And you could ask that any class, whether you had like little attendee or even a big, like, I'm like, that's something you could apply to not just classes, but like a book that you create, a new job that you take on, a relationship. I know so many people have this idea, like if a relationship ends and it's a failure, like any of these things that either you feel like you failed, or you could ask it before you think that you're going to fail. And you can ask it when you succeed. It's just this really, I can sense the generation into the future piece. Thank you so much for that. So you have this amazing capacity to get a judgment, and you're communicating with your business, with each classes, with your book, your new clothing line. That's the shirt. Yeah. All these things. Yes. Can you give us some tips on like, how did you develop that communication, that clarity? How was that journey for you?
There's one thing that I would like to say before we go there. It just pops and keeps popping. Another thing that really helps a lot of people who have a great capacity to create, but they create mostly now for the future, and then the future basically catches on to you, and then whatever you created in the now for the future becomes your present, and then you create still for the future. So it's like this chain of creations for the future that eventually end up being your present, creating for the future.
Yes.
The more creations you have in the moment, the easier it gets.
Ooh, like more irons in the fire, like more things going on.
Yes, because if you have only one class or one project or some kind of a deal that you're working on, you put so much energy to it, you basically laser beam it and burn it.
Right.
We people like that, and I call them we required to expand out by having lots going on. So if I found that it works for me when I have a schedule for like a year ahead. And I have so many classes, so many teleposts, so many podcasts that I can't even think what I have tomorrow. I have to look in the calendar what I have tomorrow.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
That might help a lot. And
if
how
you have 15 classes and one of them, whatever judgment you have of it, but you have all these other things going on, it doesn't mean as much. That I think I was a massive heart tripper, still working on it. So everything means something. It's like, what does this mean? What does this mean about me? What does this mean about the future? But when you have so many things going on, it's hard to get stuck and locked into that one moment with that one creation. That's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. And
with regards to, what was your question again? Say it again.
The clear communication with, because I've worked with multiple facilitators, and I notice some of them, they'll check out, they'll leave their creation. That happens. But even the communication with the class of that follow, what do you desire to be? What do you require from me? Do we need to change something? You have it seems such clarity. It's very clear for you. What are someone wants to start to develop their own technique and dive into their own capacities with that. What are some tools that we can give them?
I want to say, every time you think of your creation, ask the question, what is it?
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
What is, and we can slightly shift it into, what is it that this creation is trying to tell me? Because what is it is so general that you can pull on a lot of other communications from all over around.
Yeah, this is true.
You can get caught in the net of possibilities that is not relevant to you. Let's say it that way.
That's great.
But when you go into what is it that this creation is trying to communicate to me, then you either get more clarity of what it is, and you get this basically ideas or thoughts, over suddenly I would think of a host, or over suddenly I would think of the room, or over suddenly I would think of the massage tables or pillows, and I would have this kind of very quick and very light messages that you barely can notice, but if you start noticing them and acknowledging them and being grateful for them, they become more and more prevalent for you as an energy. And so I'll be like, what is going on with our massage tables? Do we have enough? And somebody said, well, yeah, we can pull them out from wherever. We have so many people we can borrow them from. And it could be actually, no, we're required to know exactly how many massage tables. We already required to make that arrangement of those people. So we for sure know. I remember I had this class in Kazakhstan, Nur Sultan, and the massage tables kept pinning me. I was every time I thought, in so many ways, the the class would pop in my awareness. I would start thinking of Kazakhstan, and I'm like, what are you trying to communicate to me? And I would keep hearing massage tables. And I'm like, hey, girls, do we have massage tables handled? And they're like, yeah. Everything is great. We rented everything. We already signed the paper. We paid them. They will deliver at this such and such date and time. And I'll be like, still, something is going on. And we couldn't put a finger on it, but we didn't ask enough question of what that is that the massage tables are trying to communicate to us now. But massage tables have their own entity. They're also energetically connected to everything that has to do with their delivery, with their being at the class. And so we didn't ask those questions. We didn't go to that deep of a clarity. We just confirmed, yes, we have.
Yeah.
And what happens when we get to Nur Sultan, the guys who were delivering the tables could not get hold of the management of the hotel. The front door guys would not let them bring the tables. They couldn't call my host for some reason. And they were there for 45 minutes trying to deliver the tables, couldn't, and they left with the massage tables.
Oh, yeah.
8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And
wow.
My girls were calling all the friends, all the people who have possibility of delivering or sending by a taxi a massage table and collecting those 30 tables till 1 o'clock in the morning. Like,
wow.
Just because you didn't have that clarity, did we confirm how to deliver the tables? Is that information passed on to the delivery guys? Is it being handled by watching this? Like, what else is required? But that moment, we didn't go also in the judgment of us. They didn't even let me know what happened. They let me know the next day, basically, when things were handled. But they're like, well, we just went into what can we be or do different? And how do we get massage tables here right now? And we don't care what it's going to cost. We don't care how long we have to stay up. We just have to do this. That was first. And then the second, there was the gratitude for that awareness that we all had that thing many times, massage tables, but we didn't go into more questions about it because it always got handled in the easy way.
Yeah.
The conclusion.
Yeah. That's so brilliant. Go ahead.
Over suddenly you expand out your world to more details you're aware of for the future. It's such a beautiful gift to us.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
now
that's not even wrong. Now it's like, oh, what a cool awareness to go to more questions. And I find so many people, they might get that ping and then they go, oh, what do I need to do? Rather than what question do I need to ask here? Like go to the question first rather than, oh, it must be this.
And how can this contribute to me now and in the future?
Yeah.
Like what are the possibilities of contribution? What am I receiving here and what am I gifting here? Now and in the future.
Beautiful. So one more thing I want to touch on before we end the show is staff. So you have some amazing people that work with you and your team has been growing. I would love to know what questions do you ask like as you're looking for people or inviting people on, and give us just a little bit of some of the energies that you play with the whole handling staff stuff.
Well, creating the team has also been quite a trip, I would say. Because if you remember me long time ago.
Yeah.
The control freak Daria used to be.
Yeah.
I do it all myself. Nobody does it better than me. I know how I want it, and nobody can give it to me the way I want it. That was my world. And then I started asking to expand and create more. And you can't create more if you're not letting anyone contribute to you. And so there's this wonderful woman who reached out to me and said, hey, I think you work way too much, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to contribute to you. Just let me know what I can help you out with.
Hmm.
It wasn't from, I want something from you. I think you're wrong. It was from acknowledging the gift that I was being, but also acknowledging that my body might not be able to handle this this speed of creation for as much as I would like to, and for as much as they would like me to see me myself contributing to them. So I was like, okay, interesting. That's the energy. What is that energy? I asked, that I'm receiving from this woman, and it was the caring, being kind to me and my body, and also being grateful for me and for what I contribute to the world, and what I contributed to specifically to her and her world. And it wasn't about what can I get from you for what I will be doing for you. It was like, I'd like to contribute. And that contribution expands out her world, creates more ease and lightness and possibilities for her in the ways she did not understand back then, but she just felt like, this is what I want to do. And that was my first. It was really hard to ask her, I would say that, because it was like, ooh, I have to pay. So I have to take on a responsibility of paying someone on a monthly basis. That means I have to create in such ways that it is ease for me to pay her, because if it's going to be not ease for me to pay her, then it's not going to be fun for me, and then it's not going to be fun for her to receive that money. I didn't want that. So I started with that, with one, and I was like, universe, could you please provide the money for this person? Would you please contribute to her salary? I will be the avenue for the money from you to come to her. Will you make this happen? And it happened. And I noticed that exactly the amount we decided that I'll be paying her was always coming in. I was like, ooh, cool. How does it get any better than that? And then there was another lady at the class who just walked around and she like cover someone with a blanket, or make the massage table look nice and tidy, neat, or would ask me if I need any water, or she just naturally was again taking care of me and my space, wanting to contribute. I was like, I like that energy. I remember that. I don't know what you will be doing yet, but I like you. And then I went with the second person as I asked the question, if I add this person to my business, what will my life be like in 5 years, 10, 20? If I don't add this person to my business, what will my life be like in 5 years, 10, and 20? And I was training them. I was giving them the tasks they never have done before. They didn't know how to engage with it. But we together were melting and creating a new possibility of basically business that was expanding out. And then with every person I was starting to invite to my business, we kind of looked at all the energies that worked for us, and were asking the questions that would allow us to perceive whether those energies would be present with this person and this business. Like, is this for me, gratitude is most important thing. If a person doesn't have gratitude, it's really hard to work with them.
Yeah.
Whether they are kind, I can't, like, working with not kind people for me doesn't work. I can work with them overall, but not on a team basis, not someone who I will be paying monthly.
Right.
I'd like some kindness my way, please. So gratitude, kindness, are they actually perceiving what we are creating together? Like, are they interested in creating what we would like to create in the world, or are they here to just get money from us? And sometimes that still works when people just came to work for you for the money. Because also, I have one person like that who works for me. She lack some other energies, but it's almost like I'm the only right now avenue for the universe to provide her with the money, and she's grateful for that. And she does exactly what she's told to do, nothing more, but it works for the task that she does. So she doesn't require to be kind to me or be grateful for me or my creations or perceive what we're creating together. She just requires to do what she requires to do and receive money for it. And that also contributes to me and my business. It's like in consciousness, everything exists and nothing is judged. And you just get to play with the energies and pick what works for you. And then you create this team of people who work with you, and they all can be different, or they can be all the same, and they can shift and change. Somebody comes and somebody goes. Somebody stays for a long time, and somebody stays only for a short time. Some people are long-term investments. Some people are short-term investments. And there is nothing wrong with it. And only by asking it's not about asking questions to create the perfect team that's never going to leave you.
Yeah.
It's asking the questions to have the awareness of what you can create and generate together, and whether it's going to work for you right now and in the future. And that doesn't mean that if you get the awareness that this person is going to work for you right now and in the future, that the person is going to work for you in the future. It might be that this person coming to you into your team right now expands out your awareness and your clarity on what you require, need, and desire, changes, leaves, and it contributes to the future too, because in the future, you invite someone completely different from what you thought you required in your business.
Yeah, yes.
It's again, coming back to the conversation we had in the beginning, not concluding and computing that what works now will work forever, and also what doesn't work didn't work, and I lost money, I lost. No, like, what can I contribute?
Beautiful.
There's many questions that we can be asking when we are hiring people. But for me, the main ones that I mentioned, is it going to be light? Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be, ease, joy, and glory? Will I learn anything? That's the question I ask, because I like to learn more.
Yeah.
The more I learn, the more I open up to more possibilities, the more energies I receive. Great. Will this person make me money? In so many ways, this question works, because if the person is not willing to receive money, then when you hire that person, you also add an energy that is not willing to, that prevents you from receiving more.
Yeah. Good point. Because you're not just adding like, okay, they're kind. You're not just adding the kindness. You're adding the whole package, right?
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. So depending on how expensive you would like to create, you could expand out your questions to a lot of energies and different varieties of energies. But also, don't try to come to a conclusion, oh my God, I have to have 100.1 conclusions about what I want, so I get exactly what I desire. It doesn't work that way. We also changed jobs. We also changed our desires and our requirements. And by going to one job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, we found out what we actually want to do.
Yeah.
So it's also a gift to hire someone who then later on will say, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. It contributed more clarity to them, what they want. It contributed more clarity to you. So everybody actually is in a win-win situation. But I see that a lot of people trying to create a perfect team. And when you try to create the perfect team, you already are in the judgment. And judgment only leads to more judgment.
Yes. And for me, perfection and control really go hand in hand, so that I'm trying to control the team to perfection, which never works.
There's a different variety of control when you have a vision of what you'd like to contribute and create in the world, and you control your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings, and you erase everything that doesn't support that creation, that is not congruent with that creation. But you also allow the universe to arrange things and make pathways to get you to what you are asking for, what your vision is. And some people can be joining you on that path, and some people can be falling off that boat that you're on, and some people can be added later on. But if we're trying to create this perfect team right away, then it's like a Titanic that nobody is getting on and nobody's getting off.
Yeah.
And then it's so big and so firm and it's so rigid that when you have to go around something, you can't quickly move. It's that flexibility that we're required to allow for, that allows us to get to that vision that we would like to create, be, change, generate in our life.
Wow. Thank you so much. You are incredible, and you have such a different way with business. I love it. If you have any business classes coming up, we should link them all. But I'll link just you as a person. If you want more with Daria Hanson, please seek her out, follow her on social, take a class with her, get your body next to her body. Like, she's incredible. Thank you for this conversation and just for the gift of you. I'm really, really grateful.
Thank you, Cassy. And you are such a gift. And the way you create is also such a gift.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?